Hi guys, a big welcome to all of you for joining me today for this session on lower back pain management and relief. So I'm a yoga teacher, a fitness trainer, a nutritionist, and I pretty much practice what I preach. And the reason for me to take this workshop up is that I myself, I've had lower back herniation in the lumbar disc L4, L5 many years ago, and I feel that this thing is avoidable by a few changes that we all can implement. And I think there is a lot of misinformation out there for the management of lower back pain, prevention of lower back pain. For example, I have seen people, I have nothing against homeopathy, but I really don't believe that taking homeopathy pills are going to help people avoid, manage, prevent lower back pain. So I want to share with you my expertise and my experience regarding this topic, and hopefully when you implement the principles and the protocol that I shared with you today, you will see yourself recovering from your current lower back pain if you have it, or you will avoid it and never have to face that issue. Okay. The structure that I'm going to follow today is I'm going to talk a little bit about lower back pain, the mechanics of it, why it's caused. Then there is something known as the holy or the unholy trinity, which I believe comes together to give you lower back pain issues. Then we will talk about the right posture and how to implement right posture in our daily lives as per yogic principles and also scientific Western principles to avoid this lower back pain, and frankly not only lower back pain, any body pain like neck, shoulder, etc. can be avoided to a very large extent by simply implementing correct postural adjustments throughout your day-to-day life, and that is not only when you exercise, when you move around in your day-to-day life. Finally, I will be sharing with you an exercise protocol which you can do at your home easily. You may need a yoga belt, which I will show you. You can even use a dupatta and start the exercises. Simple stretches which will help you keep lower back pain at bay. And finally, I will talk about one of the few things that we do in our day-to-day lives when we move, which can aggravate lower back pain as well as increase its intensity. Alright, post that I will take up any questions that you may have. All this within 30 minutes, so I better get started. Alright, so our spine is divided into three sections. There is the upper part, then the middle part, and then the lower part. Okay, upper part is the cervical, middle part is the thoracic spine, and the lower part is the lumbar spine. The upper part, cervical, you can see I can move it pretty much, rotation front and back, right? So it's quite mobile, it can move. The middle part of your spine also, it moves quite a lot. Okay, it can twist, it can turn, it can extend when you do bridges, when you bend forward, it can flex. Now this part of your spine, the lumbar spine, is not meant to move a lot. It is meant to provide stability, but like you're not supposed to move this part of your spine a lot. Alright, and those who use this part of the spine by lifting things, while moving things, do tend to get lower back pain because this part of your body is not supposed to be doing any lifting. It's not supposed to be doing heavy duty work. It's there to provide stability. Alright. Now you may ask me, why does it do work? I never make it do any work. I don't do this, I don't do that. Why is my lower back pain? I'm pretty much sitting the whole day. What lifting, what work is it doing? Now we come to something known as the trinity. Okay, in my research and my experience, people will have lower back pain if they have a weak core, if they have weak glutes, and if they have tight hamstrings. So this is the unholy trinity when it comes to lower back pain. I had these things, and even though I was exercising, I didn't know that my glutes weren't firing enough when I was exercising or when I was doing certain things. I didn't know that I had a weak core. Just because you do crunches doesn't mean you have a strong core. A strong core is an active, engaged, braced core. Okay? Tight hamstrings. At that point in time, I could not touch my toes. I really had a hard time keeping my knees straight when I bent down. Today, pretty much, I don't have a warm-up done, but I could still touch my toes. So, these three things, if you have a weak core, if you have weak glutes which don't fire, and if you have tight hamstrings, you're not able to bend down without difficulty, you may come up against lower back pain if you're not having it already. Alright? Now, why is this so? See, this is your powerhouse, okay, your torso, your glutes, your core. This is the center of gravity. Any movement, the power comes from here. Now, your glutes are the strongest muscles of the body. Suppose you are a manager and you have a team. You have your core, you have your glutes, and you have your lower back. Okay? Now, your glutes are the strongest muscles in the body. Suppose your strongest member of your team is lazy. He doesn't get up from his desk, doesn't do anything. The strongest member, the glutes are the strongest member, but they are also the laziest. Okay? If you don't work on firing them, they will never get fired on their own. They will never put in the work. The next thing is core. Core is also a powerhouse of a worker. It really, ignites and starts all movement and strength from itself. Suppose the core is not being used properly, it's not being used optimally, it's not used to do its job. The third member, which is your lower back, which is incidentally the weakest member of the team, is picking up all the slack from these two people. So that's when it is overworked, it is overburdened, it is uncared for, and that's when it kind of gives up. It's not supposed to do so much work, it's made to do work because your core and glutes are not firing. Tight hamstrings tug on your hip joints and they increase the stress on the entire structure. So that's where you have your lower back issues. So how do you address this? You address it by addressing the root cause. You don't have to do anything to your lower back if you have lower back pain. You have to strengthen your core, you have to strengthen your glutes, and you have to lengthen, which is stretch your hamstrings. Hamstrings also get strong when you work on your glutes. So, the body is not such that if there is pain here, you have to address this area. The pain could be coming from your shoulder, from your elbow, even from your back, So, it's not that where you feel the pain, there the things have to happen. So, just applying a heat pad on your lower back may give you temporary relief. But if you don't strengthen your glutes, don't strengthen your core, don't activate and actively engage your core, fire your glutes, work on increasing mobility of your hamstrings, you will pretty much continue facing lower back issues throughout your life. Okay, now we have addressed the unholy trinity, we have addressed the cause, we have also touched upon how you can go about working on the lower back issues. So, strength training is really important. Many people feel that I have lower back pain, so I will not do any exercise. That is not the right approach because if something is weak, exercise is going to strengthen it. Well, you may get temporary relief from not moving or not doing anything, but the main cause is not being addressed. You are getting some superficial relief which will last a few days, and again when you move incorrectly or something, it's going to come back. Not exercising or not doing any movements is not the solution, definitely not in the long term. Exercising with the right form is important. So work towards strengthening your glutes. How will you strengthen your glutes? You have to participate in some kind of strength training, whether body weight or with weights. Without strength training, you will not be able to strengthen, the glutes. The core has to be actively engaged with the right form. Again, when it comes to exercise, many people are scared of it if they have injuries. I give them a simple analogy. Let's say I'm cooking, I'm making puris, right? And I throw in the puri in the hot oil and the oil just sputters around, it just comes out. Should I ever say I'm never going to make puris in my life? Ever. Like that burnt me or gave me some burns. I will say the next time when I put in the puri in the pot, in the this thing, I will put it safely, slowly, gently, right, with very lightly so that it doesn't splutter. It's the same thing when it comes to exercise. Just because you got injured or something happened in the past, it was probably because of wrong form, wrong instruction, wrong guidance, wrong implementation of a correct guidance or something. So learn from your mistake, correct it and then proceed. So the next time you are making a puri, you will implement the learnings that you had. Just saying I will not do it is not going to help you. In fact, it will only make matters worse on so many levels. So not exercising is not a solution. Again, there are different levels of lower back pain. There is something known as acute back pain and chronic back pain. Acute means pain threshold of like 8, 9. You're just not able to move. It's constant throughout the day and it's intense. In that case, yes, you need rest. You need to kind of just step back and not do anything much. Maybe you can walk around and depending on how things are, you can do things. But yeah, in that case, you should not exercise, not bend forward, not lift heavy things. But if it's chronic, so like it's 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 on a consistent level, that means there is some niggling issue which needs to be addressed and it needs to be addressed by physical exercise. Vitamins and calcium and this and that can help you, but that is not like homeopathy and all these things will help. Homeopathy will not help you, sorry, but vitamins and calcium etc. will help you. But taking pills for lower back pain other than painkillers which will temporarily take away the sensation, it will not help you. You have to go via a physical remedial protocol which I am going to share with you. So that's about the root cause and the solution. Finally, I am going to be talking about some posture cues that we all need to implement in our day-to-day lives. I see so many people just moving around with the wrong posture. Obviously, like our body is, a structure and rules of physics apply to it. Rules of gravity apply to it. Each joint is stacked upon, each bone is stacked upon the other bone at an angle. And the structure will be solid if the foundation, the feet and the whole layering is strong. So it's important to understand how we should stand, how we should move. So let's start with our feet, the foundation of our bodies. I want you all to do this with me. So stand like this, okay? Now the 3 toe mounts, okay? So the big toe mount, the small toe mount and the heel. This is the trinity, again the next trinity which is important. So the 3 points on each leg, okay, they are supposed to bear the weight of your body, okay, not the arch, not your toes. So don't stand forward like this with weight on the toes. Also don't lean so back that the 2 toe mounts don't have enough weight. The 6 points, 3 points on this leg, 3 points on this leg. Lift up your toes, wriggle your toes. They are supposed to bear the weight of your body. Okay. Now let's come a little up. The kneecaps. Pull up the kneecaps slightly. Okay. Don't let them relax and let loose, because once you pull the kneecaps, it activates your quads. Imagine a structure where the foundation is very dhila dhala. Okay, it's not going to be a very solid structure, right? We are making the foundation strong. Pull up the kneecaps. That will ensure your thighs are active, your quads are active to bear the weight. Okay, suppose this hand is like this. If I just come here and push it, there is no force resistance, right? But if I am like this, if I push it, no, this is a solid structure. We want our bodies to be solid structures most of the times when we are not sleeping, right? So go on the 6-toe mounts, pull up your kneecaps, okay. Then we come to our powerhouse, the glutes, the core. The glutes have to be active and fired up, okay. Just simply activate the glutes by squeezing them a bit and just let them relax. Activate a bit and relax. Activate a bit and relax. You will see the difference in the solid, sensation of, strength in your structure. Okay. So keep them active and fired. Next thing is your core. Okay. Just compressing your stomach inside doesn't mean an active core. Okay. Pull up the belly button. Okay. So up. Before that, let's go into one of the most common mistakes I see around me. So this is your pelvis, okay. This is a neutral spine. There are two types of pelvic tilts, okay. This is an anterior pelvic tilt. This is a posterior pelvic tilt. So anterior pelvic tilt, I want everyone to try this with me. And the posterior pelvic tilt. Anterior, posterior. Anterior is when your tailbone tries to reach the ceiling. Posterior is when your tailbone tries to reach the ground. When you wear heels, you automatically go into a anterior pelvic tilt this way. It's very difficult to stand like this in a pair of stilettos, right? So ladies, heels are not a good idea if you have lower back pain. I pretty much have shared all my heels. You'll always find me in sports shoes nowadays. If I have to wear heels, I'll be wearing the sports shoes, remove them, wear the heels, take pictures or whatever, and then get back into my sports shoes. So heels are not a great idea for lower back pain, no matter what anybody claims, okay? Because you always pretty much go into an anterior pelvic tilt like this. This is not the foundation of a stable structure, okay? Secondly, even this is not great. Very few people stand like this, but I have seen people stand like this. Not great. You have to find your neutral somewhere between a posterior pelvic tilt and an anterior pelvic tilt. Okay? So this is where you ought to be. Somewhere in the middle, which is also known as a neutral spine or a neutral tilt. Now, so where were we? We picked up our toes, so the toes are not weight bearing. Three mounts, so the small finger toe mount, the big finger, big toe mount, and the heel. The 3 points take the weight, then kneecaps are pulled up, thighs are active, glutes are fired, you squeeze them, pull up your lower abdomen. So this pubic bone, try to meet this pubic bone to your sternum. Okay, sternum is the breastbone. So try to lift it up. Okay, it's not about sucking your stomach in. Okay, yes, suck the stomach in to a certain extent. Don't let it be loose and flaccid. But the way to engage your core is pull your pubic bone up to your sternum. Okay, so automatically you come into a posterior pelvic tilt because your tailbone goes down, and lengthen the distance between your sternum, that is the bone here, and your belly button. Lengthen this, okay, with a posterior pelvic tilt. Usually all of us are like this. We are on the phones, we are on the laptop, we are on the sofa, we are always like this. Pick this up. Open the chest, okay, open the chest, at the same time increase the distance between your sternum and belly button, okay. Now, what do we do with our shoulders? A lot of women I know, a lot of men maybe, but women especially have a tendency of rounding their shoulders. It may be a trait which they developed in their teenage years, or something like that, but this is a very common this rounding. In fact, I had it myself. We have to make a very conscious effort to lift the shoulders up, take them back, and leave them down towards gravity as much as we can. So no raising your shoulders, keep them down. The way to think about it is increase the distance between your earlobe and the shoulder as much as possible. So keep maximum distance between your ears and your shoulders. Okay, so let's quickly recap the 3 toe mounts on each leg. Kneecaps pulled up, posterior pelvic tilt, meaning tailbone trying to reach the floor, chest open, distance between your belly button and breastbone is the longest. Okay, shoulders away from your ears. Alright, the next thing is your chin parallel to the floor. Okay, so these are the cues which you don't own, and this is in yoga. This position is known as Samasthiti, meaning position of equilibrium or stability. Sama is equilibrium, equal, and sthiti means position. So Samasthiti. Implement this on a day-to-day basis. Not only will you feel or experience your pain kind of dwindling away, you will also feel fresher because this really allows your lungs space to expand when you inhale. That will also help you a lot in stress and anxiety management. But that's for another topic. Try to implement this and see the difference that you feel in your mind and body, and let me know if it helps you. Lastly, let's do some stretches. If you're having active lower back issues, these are safe. I have done this when I had my disc herniation, and trust me, mine was quite bad, just a level below slip disc, and surgery was not an option. I was told to give up exercising. I was told to just do some light yoga stretches, and it was just unbearable for me. So I had to find a way out, and this is what got me there. Last year when the gyms were open, I was able to deadlift 100 kg weight. Okay, so I got myself an iron spine, touch wood, by doing these things and implementing the strength training protocol which I conduct in my home fit classes, because I myself have been a lower back pain patient, so to say. I implement all these protocols in my classes, and pretty much it helps those who have lower back issues. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off the commenting because that might disturb. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, let me just quickly say hi to my folks. Hi Prabha, Monica, Sharmili, Kanchan, Aparna, Vidula. Hi Rajat. Hi Ami. Alright. How do I remove the comments? Okay, looks like we're going to have to stick around with the comments. So, the first exercise, this is a yoga belt, guys. You can use this. If you want a link to this one, you can get in touch with me. I'll send you a link. Or you can use a dupatta or a belt or a rope. Ensure it's sturdy. So lie down on your back first and foremost. The first thing you will do is a sciatica roll. Okay. This helped me a lot. Okay. I cannot tell you how good it used to feel when I had active pain to do this simple roll. All you do is you hug your knees to your chest and simply roll slowly from one side to the other. So when you are having lower back pain, the key is not to go, and touch the floor and do all sorts of antics. The key is to go wherever your body allows you to go safely without feeling threatened, and then come back to center. So do this maybe 5 times on each side and start your protocol with this movement. This actually massages the sciatica nerve and provides immediate therapeutic relief via the massage. So this is a self-massage for the sciatica nerve. Alright, the next one is cat and camel. So simply side, look at your glutes from this side. At the same time, you will thrust your glutes on the same side. When you come in the center, go on the other side, same thing, look at the glutes, thrust the glutes on the same side, come to the center. So this is spinal articulation in the lateral space. Okay, this will also help you move your spine in a new way, and there is any niggling tension, it will help resolve it. So first we did the sciatica roll, then we did the two cat-camel variations. There are many variations of cat-camel. However, for this workshop, these two should be enough. But cat-camel is such a great movement, and the variations of them, of this exercise, they are really great in increasing mobility not only of the back but also of your shoulders, etc. Okay, the next exercise is simple. Remember, you are not doing this protocol to increase your flexibility. You are trying to address your lower back pain. So don't go overboard in stretching your legs and stuff like that. This is not that protocol. This is a simple rehab protocol. So don't test the limits of your body if you have lower back pain. Okay, I am very risk averse. So always go a little less than what your actual limit would be. Simply, you try to keep this knee straight. With lower back, I expect lower back issues, I expect your hamstrings to be tight. So it's okay if you bend your knee a bit, especially when you have active pain. So simply hold it up, 1 and lower it. 2, 3, move with control and mindfulness. Don't let the leg drop to the floor. Exhale when your leg moves up, inhale when it goes down. Okay, you can repeat this 10 times on each leg. The next movement is to simply keep one hand out, take the leg to the side and up. You can also take it down and then simply take it to the side. Okay, again if you need to bend your leg. This is not about increasing flexibility, it's about managing lower back pain, preventing it, avoiding it if you have it. Okay. Finally, if you can go to the side like this and hold, okay, even if with bent leg, hold for a little while, you may do so. Okay, the next part, and you have to repeat these exercises on both the legs. The next exercise is the Parivritta Padangushthasana. So what you need to do is take the leg on the opposite side like this. It's okay even if your leg is here. Okay, take it here simply and take it down. 1, 2, 3. Alright. After 10 counts, you can go here and hold it. If you can. If it's hard for you, do not. So these are the exercises. The final exercise which will help you a lot is a spinal twist, and I will give you an easy spinal twist. All you need to do is get your hands up like this and simply fold your legs, bend your knees, turn your legs to one side, ensure both your shoulders are on the floor and look in the opposite direction of your legs. Hold it here, or you could even move from one side to the other. Okay. So this is a protocol of these 5 to 6 simple movements that helped me a lot, and I promise that they will help you given that you do them gently and regularly. Consistency is key to come out of these issues. Also, I would recommend that you do not do these exercises first thing when you get up in the morning. So what happens is when you lie down, the discs of the spine, they get filled with water because when you stand, the gravity is working on it, so water doesn't accumulate there. But when you lie down, water accumulates, and those discs become a little bulge. And movements in the morning are hard. Even for me, even now, they are slightly hard. So I would say if you have lower back pain, etc., do these exercises at around 4, 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because since morning you've been moving around, your body is warmed up, and you can. Guys, thank you very much for attending this session on Sunday morning. I hope it helped you. I'd be happy to help you if you have any questions. Do join HomeFit classes to address these issues on a consistent basis and avoid all these injuries before they actually hit you. Goodbye for now, and have a great